Tonight, our first speaker, his name is Jeff Segal. And Jeff is the recipient of the 2007 National Strength and Conditioning Association Personal Trainer of the Year Award. He's authored articles for many MS publications. He's the nationwide motivational speaker and educational speaker. He's a graduate of, you're all going to kill me for this, Florida State University. All right, he's got that woo chop going. All right, he's been living with MS since 1998. Let's welcome Jeff up here to speak tonight. Come on up, Jeffrey. Do whatever you're doing with these nice ladies.
All right, you guys enjoying that? You guys are both smiling. You a little out of breath? A little bit out of breath. Okay, so that's great. What they're doing is they're just playing catch, but by playing catch, they're maneuvering and working their core, or you'd fall out of the seat, you'd fall over. So you guys got your core working. But that's important, you know. It's exercise is something that doesn't have to be sweating in the gym, lifting 500 pounds, all that kind of stuff. Something as simple as a bouncy ball is giving you guys a workout. And the most important thing about what they're doing is they're smiling when they're doing it. All right? So that's something that if you can get into an exercise program that you enjoy, especially with somebody else and they enjoy it, chances tremendously increase that you're going to continue doing it. Unlike what happens where normally everybody in here has exercised or done something along those lines at one point, right? Mm-hmm. You guys were children at some time. I was. It was, you know, a few years ago. But as children, we play. We do all the stuff that we enjoy doing and get in trouble doing it too. But this is something you're not going to get in trouble for, and your parents aren't going to call you in. And when they did, how many of you as children remember just completely being too tired to run around and play with the other kids?
No.
Not often, right? Because you guys did it every day. So that's called conditioning. So how many people in here have fatigue and say it's because of their MS?
Yeah.
All right. It may be or it may not be. I'm not judging what what's causing your fatigue, but being sedentary is the leading cause of fatigue that I can tell you. I mean, if you're sedentary and you decide to do something, what happens is you end up trying to do it at a level that you once did it before, and you're unable to do it because you don't do it every day. And that's basically what exercise is all about, so that you can do things that you did before. I'm going to make this a little bit more difficult for you guys because, well, this is really difficult because this is Wilson. And with Wilson, I am never alone, right? Just like Tom Hanks. And if Wilson left, I'd probably shed a tear. Okay, so I want you guys to throw it back and forth, one this way, the other one the other way, and put some heart and soul into it. Come on, you can do it.
Both balls at the same time?
Okay, it's all you have to do. Okay, I'm going to tell you. Yes, at the same time. So what I want you to do is you just throw it, not this second, just throw it, but concentrate more on catching it than throwing it. Okay, and you know what happens if you don't catch it? I don't see any alligators on the ground. They're not going to pop the ball, so give it a shot.
Sure.
On three. 1, 2, 3. Throw. Okay, so you got that. Now you know how. Now throw a little bit further. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I got it.
Do we have to be coordinated?
No, but if you did this enough, you'd say, "Hey, look, I'm coordinated." She asked me if they had to be coordinated, but
Okay.
Go ahead.
Ready?
Try it. One more time. You guys are going to get this. I believe in you guys.
More coordinated than I am.
1, 2, 3. Here. There, it worked. Come on, you guys got. Okay, watch. You throw it right over there. Yeah. You throw it right here. 1, 2, 3. All right, there we go. All right, so something as simple as that. You can do it with something as light as this. It's just a bouncy ball. And that's a little bit harder to catch because it's smooth and kind of slick. And then what I have people do is with things like this. Now, I'm not going to have you guys do this right now, but you can get a feel for this. That's a 3-pound ball. That's a 2-pound ball. I get the 1. But here, let me take that. And they can go up as high as what I have here is 8. That's an 8-pound ball. So you want to see the difference? There's the 1 pound. pretty heavy somewhat. Here, let me see you throw it. Just push it. The worst thing that's going to happen is going to land right here. There you go. That was my foot. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't. So you guys did very well. Thank you guys for participating. I'm going to call some other people up too, but you guys did great. I knew you guys could do it. The thing about exercise, now when you get into the gym or when you're doing stuff at home, what happens is you neurally adapt to movements. You ever see the baby deers that are walking and their legs are buckling and they can't, and eventually you see deers running, right? Same thing happens with people. I mean, people aren't born standing on their feet. It takes time. And you see a child that goes to walk, what happens is they're here and you see them do a little bit of this or that because they haven't neurally adapted to the movement. That's why crawling is so important before walking, because you develop a core that way. Your core strength increases, and then you're able to stand on 2 feet without losing your balance. And how many people in here have balance issues? I knew I was in the right place. Balance is a product of being able to be stable. So stability is more important than balance. This is being stable, this is balance. And you don't function every day like that on 1 foot. You function on 2 feet. And if you hop to work or hop wherever you're going, then it'll be a little bit more important. How many people in here have ever used one of these? A stability ball. Who wants to play catch with it? I'm kidding, I'm not gonna have you guys play catch with it. But I saw some people that wanted to. Because that looked fun. Did it look fun what they were doing? It wouldn't look as fun if they were using this, but these are great for sitting on. Whether you're able to stand up or not, sitting on a ball like this increases stability, increases your nerves production, and they work better because they have to know where you are in space, which is what we call proprioception, the ability to know where you are in space. That's something that is so important when people have anything neurological wrong with them, where they're not getting a full signal to their feet, or it goes from their head to their feet and back and up and down so many times before you get the signal that works, but that's in a split second. Like if you step on a rock or a pebble or something along those lines, someone with MS might fall from stepping on a little pebble, where the next person might not even know they stepped on it because they adjusted properly. And that's partially because of loss of proprioception. Does that ring a bell to you guys? You guys ever feel unstable? Or proprioception has to do with all your senses. So how many people in here have walked through a doorway and caught their shoulder on a door? Right? I do it. I'll tell you, I got a bruise on my shoulder for life. That has to do with visual. It's also sound. It's also balance, coordination. All that stuff plays into effect. So the doors in my place have got their wear and tear. Now, using something like a medicine ball is good because it's also like using a dumbbell, but it's easier to hold on to, and if you drop it, it's not going to hurt, as long as it doesn't land on you and it lands on me. No, it's not going to really hurt bad. It's soft. You guys can attest to that who are up here. Those are pretty soft, the balls you're throwing, right? So I need 2 other volunteers to come up here. Not everyone raise your hand at once. And there. All you other people that were raising your hands, I'll get to you next. Okay, one of you's gonna sit. Okay. Well, one of you to sit here. Okay. Face that way. And the other one over, just stand over here. Let me see what I got with me here. You're gonna throw my keys at her. No, I'm kidding, you're not gonna do that. Balloon, harmless. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys what it's like in a chair and standing, and I'm gonna be the moderator. I was checking for COPD. I can't afford any more initials, 2 MS is enough. Okay, so catch that. Now I want you to throw that to her. Okay, did you see how she was leaning forward? Keep throwing, go back and forth. Don't worry about me getting off track here. So she's leaning forward. She's working her core. She's standing up. She's working her core because she hasn't fallen, right? So it's pretty easy. It's not as easy to catch as it looks because you have to have hand-eye coordination, which is part of exercise. You know, if you can't catch a ball and you want to go play ball with somebody, what are you going to do? Just be the person that throws? Quarterbacks can catch too. Well, I don't know. I saw the Super Bowl. I don't know about you guys. But that was the difference in the Super Bowl, right? Sorry, Brady fans. He's got enough going for him. I can take a jab at him here. Okay, so is that interesting? It's fun, right? If I gave you 3 of them, it'd be difficult, right? But I only have 2, so I'm not going to give you 3 of them. Say, now what I want you to do is stand behind her over here. Don't worry, you get to be her soon, but you don't get her name. Okay, what I want you to do is you're going to hit it, but not yet. You're going to hit it. When you hear it, you hear the ball hit the balloon hit. I want you to react and stand up and catch it. First, let me see you stand up out of the chair. Okay, so you can do squats, right?
Colleen's a badass. She just did the challenge walk. So.
Have a seat. Have a seat. Okay, so what she's going to do is when you hear the balloon hit, I want you to react to it, stand up, catch it, and then you take the seat. Okay?
Okay.
Ready? I'm not going to say go. You just do it when. Just. Nice. No. You switch spots with her. Okay. You guys are going to be running around in circles. Go. Keep going. Keep going. Hit it. And now you got to get up and. I saw her get out of the chair, so I didn't ask her before. And she got up here, so I didn't see her flying. Okay. Look at. Is she smiling? Is it a little bit fun? Now you got to hit it. You can hit it harder than that. Come on, make it challenging.
Okay. So you want us to run, right?
Not run, just, there you go. Look at that.
Make us work for it.
Yeah, work for it.
Okay.
Now stop smiling. You're going to make them think you're having fun. 2 more times. 1. This way. We're going clockwise.
Okay.
And 2. All right, you guys see that? Pretty easy? Thank you guys for coming up and doing that. So that's something that I showed you can be done for somebody that's seated and can't get out of a chair, but can still catch and use their arms. Or if they can only use one arm, then what do? Just hit it. If it's thrown, if it comes this way, rather than having to catch it, just a hit, and then you get somebody else with you to do it. How many people in here can, I'm not asking you to, can stand up out of your chair? How many people in here cannot do squats? How many people in here raised your hand both times? Okay, well, if you raised your hand and said you couldn't squat but you can get out of a chair, we have a problem. Because you just did a squat. So rather than think about it as something evil, like this squat is this really hard exercise, squatting is just getting up, sitting down, getting up, and then you take the chair away and eventually it's here. And when the chair's away, that's a squat. So that's something that you can do. And if you can't do it out of this seat, then get something higher and stand up out of that. You can have something this high, then you're doing a partial squat. Well, if you get good at doing a partial squat, then eventually you decrease the height of what you're standing out of and decrease it as you get stronger and more coordinated, and it becomes a pattern. And that's what happens with exercise. You develop patterns. You know what they talk about, muscle memory when you go back to the gym? Well, shouldn't have left. That's my thought. But you can go back to the gym. Just don't go back to the gym and expect to do what you did the last time you were at the gym if you took a long time off. Pretty simple. Because if you do, you're going to fail. And that's not something you want to do when you go to the gym. And don't worry about what other people think. How many of you do not go to the gym because you don't want to be that person that everyone's staring at? Well, if you were that person that everyone's staring at, there'd be film crews there too. Because at the gym, people care about themselves. Unfortunately, that's what they care about. They're looking at themselves. If you think they're looking at you, turn around. There's probably a mirror behind you. Because that's what people do, is they look at themselves at the gym and, they want to do better. They're flexing in the mirror or whatever. Nobody notices because they're only worried about themselves. So, and if someone does think that you're unable to do something at the gym, they've got the problem. They shouldn't be doing that. And they're not exercising. They should be working out and thinking about what they're about to do. Can I get another person up here? Come on, I need a volunteer. Stuart, come on up. No one's raising their hand. Everyone's pointing at you. the camera cannot see, but everybody is pointing at Stuart and they're chanting too. All right, Stuart.
By the way, for those that don't know that we video record our programs, we do.
Okay, what I'm going to have you do is, I just wanted you to hold that. He can be a clown too. All right. From a seated position. Here. I was going to have you hold it and I was going to sit. But what I want you to do is straighten your arms out. Are you leaning up against the back? No. Okay, pull. Okay, what he's doing right now is he's working his lower back statically without motion. He's working his upper back with motion. But what he's also doing is, he's stabilized there. If his lower back was not firing the muscles, he would fall forward. Now, if I was to do it from the other direction, I'll get you a different band.
By the way, I consent to being on video.
Okay, now just do a press straight forward. So that's something that somebody in a chair can do. And if you don't have somebody to help you, which you should have somebody with you when you're exercising because it's much safer. Stop. But you can secure these in a door. You close the door on this, then it locks in the doorway, and then you don't have to have somebody holding it, but they can watch you and help you and spot you. So something else that you can do is, what I want you to do is just hold your hands about like this, anywhere you want, right there, and just hold on to it. So right now, he's not moving, right? But his lower back is working or else he'd fall forward. So that's an exercise in itself. It's isometric. That's without movement. Do you feel your lower back a little bit? Okay. Now I'm doing the same thing. I'm getting a lower back workout as well. And we're going to see who can do this longer. No. So, but that's what you can do with that. Now if you were to do a one arm, the beauty of this is if he had a bad back or something wrong where he can't rotate, what he's doing right now is he's working his lower back. He's working one side. He's working his rotational muscles absent rotation. So it's still safe for him. Now switch hands. That way you don't work one side and walk out of here in a circle. So it's working his lower back. It's working his core. If I was to come from this side of him and tell you to just do a single arm press, now just hold it like halfway in front of you. What he's working is his obliques, his rotational muscles, absent rotation. So his back is safe. Now if he was to rotate and do it, it would bring a little bit more to it. But when you rotate, you really don't want to go 20 degrees either direction, which means you can pivot. So thanks a lot, Stuart.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Good job.
Great.
We've been working on that. Actually, he has been working with me, and I've been working on getting him to work with me and do stuff for years. And this guy is busier than anybody I know. So I tracked him down, and he actually had a good time doing it and came back. And we keep doing it, and he's getting stronger. And next year when he comes back here, he's going to bench press 500 pounds and show all of you. But he's not paying attention, so that's what we're going to be working on. Cones. I need another volunteer. And I'll make this part of it quick because I see you guys eyeballing the salads. Because healthy eating is half the battle. No, you've already been up, sorry. I would love to have you come back up. I'd love to have somebody else on this side volunteer because they haven't got the food yet. Okay, you. I didn't even pick you yet. Good job. I would like first, do you consent to be on the video? And you have to tell the video. Tell the man right there that.
I consent.
Okay. I don't know him, do you? All right, have a seat. Right now I'm going to let you do a little bit of what he did, and then I'll have some more stuff go. I'm just going to have you hold a band, and I'm going to pull it so you can see how it feels in your... So just hold on to these two. Now I'm going to pull, and you feel it pulling you forward, breathe. That's one thing that's important no matter what you're doing is to breathe. We don't get very far without breathing. Can you feel your lower back a little bit? So, but does it hurt? Just feel like it's getting tired a little bit? It should be, because you're not used to doing that. That's something that gets better as you do things. I'm going to let you do it from this direction too. Hold this. Here, do it like this. There. Here, let me switch this to... Now just hold it in front of you right there. You got it, but I don't want your back against here. Now, can you feel your abs or what's holding you up? Okay. So, he wasn't just faking it. Now, something that you guys can do, furniture mover. You guys seen these before? Right. How many of you have used these for furniture moving? All right. Well, you guys all meet me because I'm moving soon and I need some help. But if you have problems with your hip flexors, this is something that might help. So put this, you might be able to get some warm up with your leg flexion and extension. You feel that? Because if you had hip problems with your hip flexor and you just were to lift and front and back, you might not be able to do that. But this is just working your knee flexors and extensors. Now do it in a circle. Now you're actually using your hips because your knees don't do anything but this and this. So if you see a knee do something other than this or this, you got to find an orthopedist. And now go the other direction. Okay, now stand up. Not while you're on that though. All right, come on. Now what I'm going to have you do is, come here. Can you do squats? Yeah? Can you do them on one leg? Oh, she's looking at me like I'm crazy, which I am a little bit. Okay, come here, hold my hands. Put one foot on there. Okay, now step next, put your other foot next to it. Now what I want you to do is just a little bit of a slide like that, but all your weight on your right leg and up. So what she's doing is she's practicing being able to do a single-legged squat.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
But she can't help with her left leg because her left leg is on the slider. Now try it to the back a little bit. Got to hold on so you don't fall down. So slide your leg to the back and bend your knee and come forward. You're not going to go further than you can to come up or else you'd fall, so you're just safeguarding yourself. Okay. Got daring for a half a second, right? Yeah. Okay, so that's something that if you wanted to practice a single-legged squat, or if you wanted one leg to do a little bit more than the other, if one leg's having a problem, it's also helping her balance, practicing balance. So yeah, that's another thing you can do. And one thing that you can do is aim for something with it. So if you were to do this, this, and this, hold me a little bit. Now slide towards it with that one leg that's got it underneath it. There and back. Now to here. Now back. Now that way. It's working some flexibility in her leg that's planted. Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
All right.
Thanks. These furniture movers are great. They sell them everywhere. Walmart has them. That's everywhere. So I can say that they sell them everywhere. Some other things that you can do with them. Upper body stuff. I mean, you can go into a full squat with them, or you can even help them, have them assist you with a push-up or a single arm push-up. And a push-up is a great exercise. How many people in here can do a push-up? A push-up does not mean that you have to do this and come down and do that. But a push-up can just be pushing off of a wall or a chair or a tabletop. And there's so many different ways to do push-ups. This is called a podium push-up. You ever heard of that? I just made it up, so if you have, you're reading my mind. So this is working everything that's facing this direction. So my core is working when I'm doing a push-up. It's the same thing as a plank, but with mobility. So what I like to do is get people into a push-up position, just to let them get a feel for it. So if they can get into the push-up position on the ground, great. If they can, I'll do it with a wall and then progress further and further and further down to something else and then get them on the ground. But that's working your core. If you're here, something like this would be working my abs a lot, or here and here, or doing something like that, would be getting ready to do a single arm push-up. Now if you can't do that because your hip flexors and you're on your knees, you can still do that without using the hip flexors, and it's still working your chest and your core area. So these are great. I mean, they're also good for warming up your shoulders, internal and external rotation. What does that look like? Come on, you guys have seen the Karate Kid. Oh, come on. So all this stuff put together, you can develop a program. What I was talking about before about neurologically adapting to a movement and the deer and the little deer that walk and they're off balance, that's like somebody going to a gym and trying an exercise for the first time. How many people in here have done a dumbbell bench press? How many people remember at the beginning or when they haven't done it for a long time and you do the press and your arms are all over the place? Did that happen? And then after you do it a few times, all of a sudden it's getting smoother. And it's also you're able to load more weight. It's not that you've gotten stronger that fast, because in the first 6 to 8 weeks of an exercise program, it's the neural adaptation phase, and you neurally adapt so the movement becomes smooth, and then you can start adding weight. After that 8-week period or so, you start to see differences too. So the first week you work out, if you notice that you're getting bigger and stronger, that's all up here. It's not really happening. Maybe right after you get a pump or something, but exercise is something that you do from birth on until you get caught up in the cell phone. So think about times that are best for you. Most of you, a lot of you raised your hands talking about fatigue. So if you have fatigue, you know when the best time to exercise is? When you have the least amount of fatigue or no fatigue, whatever time of the day that is. I tell everyone, exercise right now. And they say, what do you mean right now? Well, right now, it's always right now. So if you keep saying, I'm going to do it right now, I'm going to do it right now, eventually you get to do it. Put it in your calendar like 6 times in a day, 10 times in a day. You do it one of those 10 times, you've succeeded. The other 9 times you throw out the door and the day starts over the next day. And keep doing it. You got to challenge yourself. You got to want it. And you got to want the results, because the results are great. Other people are going to notice the results. The results are seen outside the gym. If you're doing the right kind of exercises, especially for something like MS or anything neurological, if you're doing the right types of exercises, you don't measure it in the gym. And the people who are using the big machines and doing all that stuff, that's functional to them because they want to get strong or big, and that's their thing. For me, I want people to function better. I want them to be outside of the gym performing, being able to do the things that they did before, not as difficult as they thought it would be because they practice it. And if it's in the gym and you're practicing it, you're developing these patterns that I was talking about. Then that bench press becomes smooth, and that squat becomes smooth. And if it's a lunge or a reach, that becomes smooth. And then when something drops on the ground and you go to pick it up, you can do that without hurting your back. You can keep up with the next person who's, maybe training, maybe not. But you train to be in real life situations. Who's my next guinea pig? I'm going to come up with some new exercises, so I'm just kidding. Some new movements, right? If someone ever tells you they got new movements, we can only move so many ways, right? If someone's going to make you move in a different direction, they better be an orthopedist. All right, come on. I need a volunteer. Who's coming up? All right, come on up.
Got one on the other side, too.
That's my bad eye. No, I didn't see it. Who's the other person? I want to see who they are. All right, come on up, too. What the heck? Oh, everybody come on up. So, do you consent to be on?
I consent.
How about you? All right. Now say hi to the world, because this is being broadcasted across the whole world on the internet eventually when it comes out. Okay, so have you ever sat on one of these?
Yes.
Okay. Don't kick these. They're mine. Stay away from those.
Okay.
Have a seat. Face him.
Oh.
Okay. Now, let's see. Can you catch a knife? No, I'm just kidding. Just wanted to know.
Time.
It's been a while?
It's been a while.
No? Oh, did anybody have a knife? No, I'm just kidding. Hey, first take this. Now, throw that to him while sitting on that. Just throw it. Now throw it back. Keep going. Look at him, not me.
I was waiting for instructions.
Now throw it side to side. Don't kill him. Throw it over here. Now she's really working her core because she's on a stability ball, so she's got less stability. And in order for her to be able to catch that without falling off, she's got a strong core. You guys want to switch spots? Have you ever sat on one of those? Have you ever sat on one of those? Yeah?
Got one at home.
Here, grab my arm. Stand up. There we go. Switch spots with him. These are great for sitting at a dinner table, a computer, because look at his posture. I think he had good posture before he sat on the ball, but then I'm looking around at posture. Posture is something you have to remember at all times. And as I'm saying this, I'm seeing everybody going, whoosh, everyone just got taller. But in about a minute, you guys will get shorter again, don't worry, because you'll forget. Okay, now I want you to throw that to him. Okay, now what I want you to do is, can you bring your feet a little bit closer together? Okay. Do you have MS?
No.
No? Okay, well, you're about to have it. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Okay, now what I want you to do is, actually you can do it. Just throw it at the ground as hard as you can. All right, good. That felt good, right?
Yeah.
All right, you owe me a ball though. Here. See, now you can do it with this one. Throw it hard at the ground. How'd that feel?
Good.
Because you turned it into a pancake. Have you done this before? One more time. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
All right. All right, so do you think you can catch this? I'm not going to, here, catch. Okay, you think you can catch it?
It's got some weight to it.
It's 8 pounds, like a baby. Okay, now what I want you to throw it to him. Now overhead throw it to me. Can you throw it harder than that?
Yeah.
Can you knock me down? You can go home with the ball. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, you can't knock me down. We'll try later, right? I got boxing gloves. You could probably box. You look like a boxer.
Taekwondo.
Taekwondo? Okay, no kicking. All right, so that was fun, though. You guys enjoy doing that? Thank you very much. You can go have a seat. So using a stability ball, you can do several things with this. Like I said, you can just sit on it. If you sit on it and you make sure you're sitting upright, you're working your core. You're stabilizing yourself by using your core. One thing about your core is if your whole body works together, then you won't be doing things like this when you're losing a little bit of balance. Your body will work in unity, and your core is strong, but it's not always firing. You're just stable. It's just like if I were to stand on one leg or the other leg, I'm just standing here. I'm not all over the place because this is something that's easy for me. But if it wasn't that easy for somebody, they'd be doing this kind of thing or moving or not being able to stand on it. Same thing goes for the ball. If you sit on the ball, he was able to bring his feet in front of him like this. And that's a lot more difficult because it creates a lot smaller surface area that's being covered, and you're not stable. So you guys see what I mean? Now what I like to do is when I'm doing an assessment with somebody, and I would not have somebody do this on their own, especially without you've got to be with somebody else or somebody else with a trained eye. But I like to measure to see how many people or what their issues might be, which side's stronger than the other. I'll have someone sit there with one leg off the ground. Okay, now if I was sitting here like this and I was doing this just fine, then I tried this leg and I was all over the place, which leg is my weak leg? This? This one is. And chances are this side of my body probably is. That's something that's, for me, it's simple to see with people who have deficits, and then you can work with them. But just by knowing it, I wouldn't put somebody into a bad situation by expecting them to be able to do something with one side of their body if they can't, that the other side of the body can do. They'd be setting them up for failure. And you don't want to fail. I mean, you want to succeed. You want to do more. So when you're developing your own exercise programs, one of the things that you should do is increase what you're doing. It's not a bad thing to use heavy weight, as long as you're doing it safe. And for women in this room that are afraid to use heavier weights because they're going to bulk up, I hear that. You hear that. I've heard every excuse. But the heavier the weight that you use, the better the results are going to be. It doesn't mean the results are going to be bulking up. If you stay within a rep range, you're going to get a little bit bigger. But you ask somebody who's a bodybuilder how hard it is to gain a single pound of muscle, and they'll tell you it's not easy. So if you think you're going to bulk up, it's not going to happen. Somebody told you that at the gym that didn't know what they were talking about. If you want to learn something, learn it by reading it. Don't learn it by what people say at the gym. Because if you listen to what people say at the gym, and unfortunately a lot of them are trainers too, you'll come out of there thinking the world is a really flat place. Because it's not based on science. What I do is based on science. And the results are based on science. Exercise is a science. That's why there's a major called exercise science and exercise physiology, because there's different rep ranges for different things you want to do. There's different areas that you're able to do stuff. And right, Stuart? I'm sorry, I couldn't understand what you were trying to tell me.
Confused?
Huh?
You confused?
Me?
I think you should bring up these pharmaceuticals.
I'm ready for them. Bring it on. Come on, one of you guys got to come up here. I knew it was going to be him. You don't have boxing gloves, do you? I do. Thank God. Okay, so you sell medicine for the most part that helps people with MS.
Yes.
But you don't have MS.
No.
I do. I got those initials, so it's kind of cool. So I'm going to show you what it's like to have MS. Come here. Okay, what I want you to do is stand with your feet completely together. Now just stand there. You feel a little awkward, a little bit of a sway? Close your eyes.
Yes.
Okay, you feel that sway? Okay, so that's what it's like for a lot of people with MS, just to stand up like this, and the world's moving, right? So now try it. Now do the same thing. Close your eyes. Tilt your head back a little bit. You feel yourself swaying even more?
I do.
Okay. That's like what people with ataxia go through. Now, can you stand on one leg? Can you whistle while you're doing it? No, I'm just kidding. Don't have to whistle. You can close your eyes. You can open your eyes. It's okay. See, but if you were to close your eyes now try closing your eyes. Can you guys see him moving around a little bit? I'm up close. Trust me, he is. Okay, that's what it's like for the people who are in the room who have MS. So now I want you to see. Catch this. I'm just going to throw it to the side and to the side. Keep your feet close together, because the closer your feet are together, the more your core is going to be working. Now try not to let your body turn when you catch it. There you go. Can you feel your core? Yeah. Keep going. Let's go. Just keep going back and forth. All right. Now something else that I'm going to do is, do you go to the gym?
I do.
Okay. So you work out. Do you ever do push-ups?
I do.
Okay. You should do more.
Okay.
You know why? Because you can. All right, so what I want you to do is stand like you're going to do a push-up. Just stand like this. Now, keep your feet a little bit closer together. Now, one arm push-up. Push. Now push again. Now, if I wanted to stop you, go push. Push. That's because this isn't as strong, right? You feel that's your core. So you see, so now that's exactly what I was doing with them. I'll do this side just so you don't have an imbalance. You're not going to get an imbalance from one set. But you feel your obliques working, right?
I do.
Without rotating. So you're using your rotational muscles without the presence of rotation.
Absolutely.
So now when you're at the gym and you do a one-arm thing, now you know you can get some chest in and work your core and work your abs.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Need that work.
Yeah, you know what? You know the best place to work your abs is? With your arms. By not eating. Hey, and before you go, I just want to make sure, do you give consent to be up here? If you do, you got to tell him that.
I do. I consent.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Anybody else want to know what it's like to have MS that doesn't? Okay, good. I wasn't going to do the next thing that I was going to do. All right. Does anybody have any questions at this point? I can go on for a long time, but I want to make sure that you guys don't lose your train of thought. And I know that that's an issue. So wait a second. I want you to grab a mic. I'm going to go back and forth, but can you get a mic? Because she's got a question.
Mine was actually simple. I just wanted to know, where do you buy the bands at that you can put in the door?
But there's a lot of places that sell them. I get them from a site called performbetter.com. They're called all-purpose bands. So, and they come in different resistance. They have a chart. So if you go to that site, you can look it up, and they got them all-purpose resistance bands.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for now? You guys have no questions, or are you guys shy? Both?
I know that you've been doing this for at least 12 or 13 years because I've seen you in Fort Lauderdale when I lived there.
I've been doing this for like 25 years,
Yeah.
maybe 30.
You work with people with MS to establish programs for them. I believe you are out of Fort Lauderdale,
Yeah, I mean, I live in Delray Beach.
of Delray Beach. Is there anybody up in this area that you know that has programs for people with MS?
I don't know offhand, but the thing that you should do is talk to your neurologist, see if they know. What I'm trying to do is get some people together and let them, people who've learned through what I do or through other people do who understand MS, and get a database and give it to doctors. So that way doctors can have that information and pass it out. But if you talk to a physical therapist too that your doctor recommends, they might be able to give you the name of somebody, especially with the university here. They got an exercise physiology department, and that might be another avenue that you can go through, is calling the university and finding out if there's anybody who's graduated in exercise physiology who works with people with MS.
Okay, thank you.
So, you're welcome.
Anybody else?
Okay, so some of the other things I was going to get into is the way we respond to exercise. There's an acronym that I use called SAID, S-A-I-D. It's Specific Adaptations to Imposed Demands. That means whatever you do, the more you do of it, the more you'll be able to do. And that's a big thing that you hear people say, if you don't use it, you lose it. Well, if you don't use it, you'll stop wanting to use it, and you'll really lose it. But the more you do and the better you get, the more you'll want to get that feedback. It's great to look at yourself in the mirror and see that there's been some physiological changes. Or go to pick something up like this, and you pick it up and you didn't fall over. Those are the types of things that make exercise programs unique for people like us, because it works outside of the program. It does. It's proven. It's fact. And there's some new studies that are out right now. And one came out of Germany at ECTRIMS this year, and it was great because it talked about neurotropic growth factor, brain-derived neurotropic growth factor, which is something that you develop in your brain that if you can increase it, you might increase your memory, you might increase strength, you might increase your ability to perform activities of daily living, all kinds of different stuff. But it's so important to know that this research is out there for a reason, and it's proving that exercise can help. It's not going to take the place of a disease-modifying therapy, but I guarantee you that if you ate well and you exercise and you take a disease-modifying therapy, you're giving yourself much better chances than just taking the medicine and saying work, because it doesn't work that way. Because the person next to you who doesn't have MS, who doesn't do anything for themselves and is sedentary, they're not going to be getting better or stronger or more apt to do stuff outside of a gym or anywhere, because they're withering away. You have to use your body. Your body is meant to work and meant to move. And the less you move, the less you're going to want to move, and the less enjoyable you're going to be with, right? You want to participate. Everybody in here has participated at some point in their life and has been a spectator at some point in their life. Participation blows away being a spectator. You guys agree? Right? That's what life is about. You want to do, you want to be, you want to be able to help other people, and you want to be able to help yourself. And if you can't help yourself, then you're relying on somebody else. And how many people in here are care partners? Okay? How many of you care partners exercise? You should be exercising 3 times as much as the person you're with, because A, they're relying on you. B, you need to be able to take care of them, and C, you got your own health to take care of. And if you don't do that and you can't take care of them, what good are you? Especially as a role model. If somebody with MS is exercising more than you, open your eyes and do it. Like Nike says, just do it. These are things that are so important. I mean, you see these people on television. How many of you like sports? Okay, Gator sports. All right, now we got some hands up. You know how hard these people work to be able to do the things they do on Saturday or Sunday or whatever day it is that their sport they're playing is? They work every day for hours and hours and hours. So if you were to just go ahead and try to do something that they're doing and you can't do it, that's not your fault. That's because you haven't practiced your whole life to get to that level. And these are the elite. And if you ask them in their whole career, you ask someone who's a professional athlete their whole career what they remember most, it's not necessarily going to be that winning catch that they did. What they remember most is what they did most, and that's practice. And that's what life is about. You practice and prepare and plan. And if you're looking to lose weight, you're looking to eat a better, have a better diet, and you plan, chances are so much better that you're going to succeed. If you make your diet out on Sunday for what you're going to eat throughout the week, you got a much better chance of eating the foods that you should be eating rather than the foods that you want because you've gotten so hungry because you skipped a meal or did whatever you did. You want to eat something that tastes great, right? That's going to fill you up, tastes great, and it's going to be inexpensive. And then where do you go? McDonald's? Burger King? These are the kinds of things you want to stay away from. They're simple, they're easy, but they're not part of the plan. And that plan consists of what I said before. Exercise, eating the right foods, taking whatever your doctor tells you is best for you with your MS, whatever the disease-modifying therapy is, because this is the new time for MS. This is the time for us to make MS have a different appearance. I would love to be the face of MS when people see people like me doing these things because the people that, when you think about someone with MS, are the people that are visually have an issue with it. And not everybody is like that. And I've been there. I understand. There's been a time that I couldn't stand or talk or do much at all. I could barely see, talk, and walk for about a year. And I felt like this is what MS looks like. Well, I still have MS. I can show you what my MRI looks like. It looks like a Christmas tree with a lot of ornaments on it. It reminds me. I look at it every day. I have it in my phone. And I also do everything I possibly can to make sure other people understand the things that they're able to do, not worrying about the things they're not able to do, because if you put too much time into what you can't do, you're basically staying still doing nothing, thinking about nothing. And how many people in here have wanted to go to the gym but talked themselves out of it or said they're going to do it tomorrow? You don't know if tomorrow's coming, do you? You know it's today. So if you start now or start today, you're not going to put it off till next week, because next week becomes next month, next year, maybe a decade down the road. And function will go straight down. Talk to your neurologist about it. When I was diagnosed, it was during the times where they said, don't exercise. I mean, really the first research that came out that was in this country on exercise and MS and that it was beneficial was in the mid-90s. And a lot of doctors didn't catch on to it because they weren't sure. They thought maybe it was just a few subjects that did it or not, and they wanted to side with caution. When my doctor told me when I was diagnosed, do not exercise anymore, your life is going to be a little bit different, all I could think of is, gosh, I'm going to prove this guy wrong. And I kept exercising, I kept doing stuff, and I lost weight. I lost almost 100 pounds. Not quickly. It takes time, one at a time. If you lose too much too fast, you're losing more than just fat. Any other questions now? Wait. He needs to bring his microphone.
We need people to hear when they listen.
You mentioned diet. Do you follow any specific diet or?
Yes, and I'm going to tell you the diet that's best for everybody in here. I'm on the Jeff Segal diet. Right? So you have a name. You got to find what your best diet is for you. Now, what I do is I eat a very, very healthy, well-balanced diet. I don't eat a bunch of sugar, salt, fats. Those are the things that I limit and make sure that I'm not having as my regular intake. And I try not. I don't eat much red meat, if any. I don't remember the last time I ate it. I eat fish. I just try to stay away from white flours and that type of stuff. White food like white rice. If I was a diabetic and ate like a diabetic should eat, that's how I'd want to be. I mean, that's not saying that diabetics eat that way, because if they did, they might not be diabetics, type 2 at least. But I eat a well-rounded diet, very colorful, not including Skittles. I try to get my plate to be as colorful as I possibly can, and that's how I eat. So everybody's a little bit different. That's why I said my diet's got my name on it, and your diet's got your name on it. And I don't like to follow a diet. And one thing that a negative part of diets, when diets have names and people go right into a diet, they increase their chances of failure. Because what happens when you get to the point that you wanted to get to when you're on a diet, whether it be weight loss or something else? What do? The diet's over, right? Then what? You go back to the way you used to eat. Then you go back to the way you used to be. And then you go back to another diet because you think the last one didn't work. It's a lifestyle. It's a change that you have to make. You have to really, you have to be in it, and it's for the long run. It's not for this week, and it's not going to be over in 10 days. And if you want to lose 3 dress sizes to get into the size that's for the wedding that's coming up, start yesterday. Because if it's in 3 weeks from now, don't expect much change that's healthy. You can make some change in 3 weeks, but it's not going to be 3 sizes. And if it is, it's coming back with a vengeance. So that's my take on diet. Also, diets, they have an end point. They have negative connotations because it's failing. If you don't get to the end of a diet, which usually ends on a Wednesday and starts on a Monday, right? How many people in here said they're going to start a diet but not till Monday? Right? I don't know how Monday got designated as the diet day, but if you do that, what's going to end up happening is Friday you're going to say, oh, I can eat this because I'm going on a diet when? All right, and Saturday and Sunday, the same thing. Monday comes along, oh, now you're really upset because you got to eat the foods that are on the diet. And chances are, by Wednesday, you're so frustrated with the diet that you lose track and you're done with it, and you have not lost as much weight as you gained Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that's where diets kind of has a negative side to it. So just eat the foods you like. Eat them in moderation. Eat them often. Eat throughout the day. If you eat every 2 or 3 hours, you're going to eat like a baby, right? Babies eat every 2-3 hours, sometimes 4, but they're really crying by then. And if we cried when we wanted to eat, we'd be laughed at. Kids, everyone runs to them. They see them crying, what's the first thing they do? They give them food, check their diaper, and then what's next? You don't know. But you don't want to see a child cry, and that's what happens when they're hungry. When a child gets into school, what's their routine at school as far as eating goes? What do parents tell their children? Eat breakfast. It's the most important meal of the day while the parents aren't eating breakfast, right? So then you eat breakfast, the kids go to school, a couple hours later, they have a snack. A couple hours after that, maybe an hour or 2, they have lunch. They come home, what do they have? A snack. Then what comes? Dinner. How many meals have they had now? After dinner, they might have dessert. Hopefully it's a healthy dessert. Now they've eaten throughout the day. Their body's not trying to hold on to calories because it's sped up their metabolism or it's continued to be fast. And you can do more. And you don't overstuff yourself. You don't sit back and take that deep breath and unbutton your pants and say, all right, where's the next bite coming? That's what happens when we overeat and get too hungry. That's why diets everything should be in moderation. Any questions?
I guess you're not a nutritionist, but my question becomes, are there any supplements that you see that are beneficial to MS patients, possibly?
I've done research on many different supplements, and they're very anecdotal. L-carnitine to increase mitochondrial activity, and there's a handful of other supplements, but the key to that is the word supplement. It's to supplement something which should be a healthy diet, and if you get a healthy diet and you eat the right foods in the diet, it decreases what you really need to supplement. So my philosophy is get as much as you can in, and then get your blood checked, and whatever supplement you take is based on your blood work and what's lacking, because if we eat a well-rounded diet, we have the most unless our body's just not taking it in. But I think the first part of my answer was more what you're looking for, is different supplements and what might help. So I think something that has an anti-inflammatory effect might be helpful, whether you have MS or not. I mean, things like...
and I know that vitamin D has been implicated in being an aid at whether that's scientifically proven or not is questionable.
Well, what's proven is there's a correlation between people with MS and vitamin D levels, but also the same correlation is where people live who have MS, so which makes sense to the vitamin D. But it goes further than that because they're also measuring people that are closer to the equator with MS that tend to have, on average, a lower vitamin D level. So supplementing that is based on what your doctor's recommendations are. I personally supplement with vitamin D because my goal is to always keep it above 70. And I'm there, but I wouldn't be if I wasn't supplementing. But I'm in the sun a lot too, but my vitamin D levels wasn't at 70. So vitamin D is important. Any other questions? No, have you guys know it all, okay? Well, I can leave here knowing that you guys had nothing that you questioned about, and when I walk out, you're not going to be like, oh, I should have asked him that. You guys got it? I knew it. I pretended like I was going to leave, that's why.
I have to hold it. You know why I have to hold it? You know, there's flu around. One person.
So what constitutes in your opinion, a healthy diet?
A diet that's colorful, that has a fruit in it, a vegetable in it, some kind of a protein that's not high in fat, especially saturated fat. And you can have grains, although I stay away from grains. You can get your carbohydrates outside of a grain source because most of the grains end up being white bleached flour or something along those lines. But that's a healthy diet to me. And a wide variety of foods. So if you can eat a wide variety of foods that are colorful and you don't eat a bunch of the same thing all the time, that's a healthy diet.
But does one certain diet work better for one person than it does for another person?
Pretty much, yeah. It depends on what your needs are and depends on what you're lacking. That's the whole thing with MS. I don't believe that you can treat MS specifically or just with diet. But I'll tell you this, if you eat a really unhealthy diet, I doubt you're going to be doing as well with MS and everything else than if you ate the healthy diet. So why not eat a healthy diet? That's just that's for yourself. I mean, you don't want to be unhealthy. Because if you have MS and heart disease and other issues, how much of your time that you go to your neurologist are you going to actually get to speak about MS? Rather than the medicines that might interact with the medicines you're taking for MS because you're taking stuff to help you with something you can fix with lifestyle changes. So, next question. And if you guys have another question, I want it to come from over here and then over here because I want to see him doing sprints.
Question I have is, do you have publications for diet and for exercise, and do you have a website?
I'll tell you what I can refer you to is, if you go to MS Views and News Learning channel on YouTube, you will get to see all the stuff that you've seen me do here, plus additional stuff that I haven't showed you here, plus doctors from all over the country with different perspectives. Program after program. I mean, I don't know how many we have on there. Was there 100 videos? Who knows? There's a lot of videos that I'd be surprised if you found any specific video that you didn't take something home out of. So check that out. Could be a homework. So that's where I'd go. MS Views and News Learning channel on YouTube.
All right, any other questions? Any other questions? I know Jeff is running a little late right here, right now. So let's give him a round of applause. How about that? Thank you, sir.